Hi, I'm here taking a little sidetrack from my 1972 project, and I will be replaying and recording the first Indians game at Jacobs Field. This game was on Monday, April 4th, 1994. I was not at this game. I did have a VHS recording of it. I'm not even sure where exactly I was when this game was being played, but I don't remember watching it. I was a junior at Ohio State at the time. And as an upperclassman there, I rarely had classes at night. So on a Monday afternoon, I was probably in class. And I don't remember if. Let me look. I don't remember if this game was broadcast locally or on ESPN. Let me see if I can find a copy of it. All right, I looked in. Apparently, this game was broadcast on ESPN. And I don't remember watching it, so like I said, I was probably in class because I was a junior and I was like really focused on getting into grad school. So I went to class like almost relentlessly while I was in college. The Saturday before this game, on April 2nd, the Indians played a exhibition game there against the Pirates, and I was there with my brother and my cousin. My dad at the time was a member of the Cleveland Fire Department, and he belonged to a group that had season tickets for the Indian season at Jacobs Field, and he was the one holding the tickets, so he was at this game. And I probably set up the recording at his house to record it. Normally, when I was in Cleveland, like visiting over a weekend, I would go back to Columbus on Sunday in the afternoon or the evening. But for some reason, I think I may have drove down to Columbus actually the day of this game or that morning, and I don't remember either running to the house to watch any of it or going to the student union because I never like went back to the house between classes. I would stay on campus for the whole day. I'd get there in time for my first class, and I wouldn't leave class until my last class was over. And I'm not even sure when I sat down to actually watch this game. Probably later in April on a trip up to Cleveland, or probably the next time I went to Cleveland, I brought the VHS tape down to Columbus with me. Probably watched it there. Yeah, this was a big deal in the city. I mean, this was probably the biggest sports story in the city in the 90s. The only thing I think that came close was the announcement a year and a half later when the Browns announced that they were leaving to go to Baltimore. I had thought that the Indians were going to contend for the AL East pennant in 1993, but then after the boat accident at Little Lake Nelly, when Steve Olin got killed, that like the season was that just like wrecked the Indian season for them, I think. So anyway, here we go. It's opening day at Jacobs Field. It's the Seattle Mariners against the Indians. Indians are in the brand new American League Central. It'll be Randy Johnson for the Mariners and new free agent acquisition Dennis Martinez for the Indians. Seattle's starting lineup will be leading off to third baseman Edgar Martinez, batting second to shortstop Felix Fermin. Fermin had been traded during the offseason from the Indians to the Mariners for Omar Vizquel. Batting third, the designated hitter Reggie Jefferson. Reggie Jefferson's a former member of the Cleveland Indians. Batting fourth, the center fielder Ken Griffey Jr. Batting fifth, the right fielder Jay Buhner. I believe that there was still some short-tempered man in Queens who was still stewing over the Jay Buhner trade from the Yankees. Batting sixth, the first baseman Tino Martinez. Batting seventh, the second baseman Rich Amaro. Batting eighth, the left fielder Eric Anthony. And batting ninth, the catcher Bill Hasselman. On defense, the Indians have Eddie Murray at first. Eddie Murray came to the Indians as a free agent. Carlos Baerga at second. He came to the Indians with Sandy Alomar Jr. after the '89 season in the trade with the Padres for Joe Carter. Shortstop is Omar Vizquel. He's making his debut with the Indians just like Murray is. Like I said, he came over from Seattle. At third base is Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis came up through the Indians organization. In left fielder is Albert Bell. Albert Bell came up through the Indians organization. In center fielder is Kenny Lofton. Lofton came over from Houston in a trade for Ed Taubensee. In right field is Manny Ramirez. Ramirez came up through the Indians organization. Catching is Sandy Alomar Jr. And on the mound is Dennis Martinez. He came over as a free agent, and he had been a teammate with Eddie Murray on the Orioles. Here's Edgar Martinez in the first pitch. Martinez, it's fly ball in a right field. Manny Ramirez going back. That's out of play. Strike one. President Clinton's here today. He threw out the first pitch. It's a grounder up the middle. Vizquel to his left has it. Throws him out. One out. That'll bring up the shortstop Felix Fermin. Fermin came over from Cleveland, and when he left, he was the highest paid member of the Cleveland Indians. I believe he was the only member of the Indians at the time who was making over $1 million a season. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Shallow fly ball in a left field. Albert Bell's coming in. He's got it. 2 outs. Dennis Martinez, he mixes up fastball and breaking stuff. Generally a ground ball pitcher. He's 39 years old. I don't know, at the time, I believe he was the only major leaguer from Nicaragua. Here's the designated hitter Reggie Jefferson. The 3-0 pitch.
Ball four, take your base.
Changeup, low and inside, ball four. Jefferson was taking all the way. That brings up Ken Griffey Jr., the center fielder. Fastball, he got a piece of that one. Strike one. Grounder to first. Murray has it. He tosses to Martinez, covering 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Seattle 0, Cleveland coming to bat. Difference at Jacobs Field. The Indians dugout will be on the third base side here. They had been in the first base dugout at Cleveland Stadium. And the bullpens are not part of the playing field. And the bleachers have the same kind of stadium seating that became popular at movie theaters. Bleachers were actually some of the best seats at Jacobs Field. And there is like no general admission seating at Jacobs Field. There's a general admission section, they call it that, but it's the reserve general admission. Just like the bleachers, each bleacher ticket has a specific seat number. Unlike at Cleveland Stadium, where general admission of bleachers were like, you could sit anywhere you want in this section. Here's the Indians starting lineup today. Leading off is the center fielder, Kenny Lofton. Batting second, the shortstop, Omar Vizquel. Batting third, the second baseman, Carlos Baerga. Batting fourth, the left fielder, Albert Bell. Batting fifth, the right fielder, Eddie Murray. Batting sixth, the designated hitter, Candy Maldonado. Batting seventh, the catcher, Sandy Alomar Jr. Batting eighth, the right fielder, Manny Ramirez. And batting ninth, the third baseman, Mark Lewis. I thought about running the introductions for this game as part of this recording, but I was concerned that they might get flagged for some kind of like copyright violation or something. On defense, the Mariners will have Tino Martinez at first, Rich Amaral at second, Felix Fermin at short, Edgar Martinez at third, Eric Anthony in left, Ken Griffey Jr. in center, Jay Buhner in right, Bill Hasselman catching, and on the mound, Randy Johnson. Johnson is one of the hardest throwing pitchers in the game in 1994. And he had a great slider. Leading off is Kenny Lofton, the center fielder. The 2-2 pitch. Check swing. That's in there at the knee. Strike 3 called. 1 out. Here's Omar Vizquel, the shortstop, facing his former team. The 2-0 pitch. Grounder to second. Amaral's up with it. Throws him out. 2 outs. That'll bring up Carlos Baerga, the second baseman. The 1-1 pitch. Baerga hits a fly ball into center field. Griffey Jr. to his right. He has it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the first. We played 1 here at Jacobs Field. No score. while I am playing the 1972 season, I was kind of concerned that I was moving through it a little too fast. I want to kind of enjoy it, not just the Indians, but also the Cavs portion of it and the upcoming Cleveland Crusaders portion of it. So I have a couple of side projects going too. I decided to play the Indians Era of Champions from Jacobs Field. That's generally regarded as 1994 to 2001. And I had been just auto-playing some of the dead ball seasons. The last one that I had played all the way through was 1911. Right now I'm up to the 1915 World Series. And I was going to pick up the Indians and the Giants in 1918. But changed my mind and decided to pick them up in 1916. Because 1916 was the year that Tris Speaker came to the Indians. I played the whole Lajoie era with the Cleveland Naps. Played the whole Boudreaux era of the Indians. Played the whole Al Lopez era of the Indians. And I want to play the whole Tris Speaker era. In fact, if I'm able to, I'm going to play the Indians straight through from 1916 to 1939. When I originally bought this game, the first seasons that I bought, they had a special 7-season package from 1940 to 1947, so it was 8 seasons, I guess. And I started playing in 1940, and I'm up to 1972. And I would like to play as much of the Indians in like the World War I era and the 20s and the 30s as I can. All right, getting back to Jacobs Field, it'll be Jay Buhner, Tino Martinez, and Rich Amaral for Seattle. Jay Buhner, the right fielder. The 1-1 pitch. Buhner swings a base hit in the right center. That's the first hit in Jacobs Field history. I should mention it, this is opening day for both of the teams. The 1994 season actually opened on Sunday, April 3rd, during a very chilly night game in Cincinnati. In my APC universe, Cincinnati won last night, 6-5. And I'll bring up Tino Martinez, the first baseman. And spoiler alert, I know that this season ends with the strike in August. And I'm going to bring back the ghost of Kennesaw Mountain Landis to hold both Bud Selig and Don Fear's heads in the toilet and make them play the postseason. Fouls it back, strike one. In fact, in my dead ball era season, Kennesaw Mountain Landis is recently being mentioned in baseball publications like Sporting News and Sporting Life because he is the judge hearing the Federal League lawsuit. Martinez hits a grounder to first. Murray with a dive, has it, throws a Vizquel for the out. 1 out. Tino Martinez takes second on the fielder's choice. That'll bring up the second baseman, Rich Amaral. Fastball. He lunged and missed that one. Strike one. Another fastball. Strike two. I mean, compared to Randy Johnson's fastball and slider, it's like the Mariners are looking at a steady diet of changeups right now. And Dennis Martinez is pretty skillful keeping the hitters off balance. It's a high fly ball down the left field line. That's foul. I remember I saw Dennis Martinez out and about at one of the local malls one time. I think it was in the off season. He had his hand banned. I think he had surgery. That's a curveball up around the letters. Ball one. He hits a fly ball in center field. Kenny Lofton's coming in. He's got it. Made a nice diving play on that one. Going to see a lot of good center field play from Kenny Lofton. It brings up Eric Anthony, the left fielder. Breaking ball, ball one. Swing and a miss, strike one. He hits base hit in the left field. Albert Bell's up with it. Anthony rounds first. He slides into second with a double. Martinez takes third. That is the first extra base hit at Jacobs Field. That brings up the catcher, Bill Hasselman. Fastball just caught the inside corner. Strike one. Breaking ball. Swing and a miss. Strike two. Strike three call. Martinez worked his way out of a jam in the second inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the second here at brand spanking new Jacobs Field. No score. Taking a look real quick at the Indians bench. Wayne Kirby, he came up through the minors in the Cleveland system. Paul Sereno, free agent. Jim Thome came up through the Indian system. Alvaro Espinoza, let me see. I believe he was a free agent. Yeah, he was a free agent after being released by the Yankees. And Tony Pena, catcher, who'd been around a long time. It'll be the middle of the order for the Indians in the second. Albert Bell, Eddie Murray, and Candy Maldonado. Albert Bell, the left fielder, mate. I loved watching Albert Bell play. He may have been my favorite member of the Indians in this era. Probably either him or Jim Thome was. The 0-2 pitch. Strike three called on a curveball. 1 out. Here's Eddie Murray, the first baseman. Eddie Murray, another guy I really liked as a member of the Indians. The 3-2 pitch. Hits a weak fly ball in the center field. Ken Griffey Jr. coming in. He's got it. 2 outs. Here's the designated hitter, Candy Maldonado. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three on a slider. Nothing across for Cleveland in the second. We played 2, no score here at Jacobs Field. Be the top of the order for Seattle in the third. Edgar Martinez, Felix Fermin, Reggie Jefferson. 3 Martinez is playing today. Edgar, Tino, and Dennis. Edgar Martinez is 0 for 1. He grounded out to Omar Vizquel to christen this ballpark. The 2-1 pitch. Liner down the left field line. That's in the corner. Bell's after it. Martinez is in second with a stand-up double. Mark Lewis got a late jump on that one. That'll bring up Felix Fermin. He's 0 for 1. He flied out to Kenny Lofton in the first. Hits a blooper in a right field base hit. Edgar Martinez stops at third. He's not running on Manny Ramirez's arm. I remember that exhibition game against Pittsburgh. We were sitting in the mezzanine, which is this section up in here. And there was a fly ball to Manny Ramirez, and from where we were sitting, it looked like the ball hit Manny Ramirez in the head. That'll bring up Reggie Jefferson. He walked his first time up. Inside, ball 1, a changeup. Fastball, strike 1 called. Liner down the first base line. That's foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball down the right field line. Ramirez is after it, but that makes the seats. Fastball caught the outside corner. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 2 for Dennis Martinez. That brings up Ken Griffey Jr. He is 0 for 1. He grounded out to Eddie Murray in the first inning. Grounder down the first base line. That's foul. It's a little liner to second, but Baerga is right there, and he's got it. 2 outs. And here is Jay Buhner. He's 1 for 1. He singled in the second. That was the first hit in the history of this ballpark. Curveball away, ball 1. Just caught the corner, strike 1. It's a fly ball into center field. Lofton takes a couple steps back. He's got it. Martinez works his way out of another jam. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 2 left. We go to the bottom of the third. No score here in Cleveland. It'll be the bottom of the order for Cleveland. Sandy Alomar Jr., Manny Ramirez, and Mark Lewis. Sandy Alomar Jr. came over from the Padres, along with Carlos Baerga. In fact, the Indians manager, Mike Hargrove, he was acquired by the Indians as a player from the San Diego Padres as well, and a pitcher in a trade for Paul Dade. And for anybody who remembers that far back in the late 70s, I believe Paul Dade wore number 00. The 0-2 pitch. Shallow fly ball in a right field. Jay Buhner's there. He's got it. 1 out. Here's the right fielder, Manny Ramirez. They say as a hitter, this kid's got all the tools. He is 22 years old. He's from East Harlem, New York City. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 4 for Johnson. Here's Mark Lewis. He's 25 years old. He's been with the Indians for off and on since 1991. Closest he ever came to being a regular was back in 1992. He got into 122 games. Right now, manager Mike Hargrove plans to platoon Mark Lewis and Jim Thome at third base. Mark Lewis, a right-hand hitter facing lefties, and Jim Thome, left-handed batter, will face right-handed pitching. The 1-1 pitch. Grounder to third. Martinez. Got kind of a late jump on it. Throws to first. Not in time. Lewis is on with a single. So he gets the first Cleveland hit at this ballpark. That brings up Kenny Lofton, who's 0 for 1. He struck out in the first inning. Curveball. There goes Lewis going for second. Hasselman just holds the ball. And Mark Lewis with a stolen base. So the Indians have 2 outs, runner in scoring position. Changeup, low and outside, ball 1. Fastball, outside, ball 2. Low and inside, ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. It's a grounder to second. Amaral has it. Throws him out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. We played 3 here in Cleveland. First game at Jacobs Field, no score. Take a look around the majors. In the top of the second at Yankee Stadium. Yankees lead the Rangers 5-3. Jose Canseco hit his first home run of the year for Texas. Last season, 1993, as a member of the Rangers, Jose Canseco was involved in a famous play when a ball bounced off his head in right field over the fence at Cleveland Stadium. That is Dreyer against Jimmy Key. I've been watching the 1988 postseason, and Jose Canseco, he had a great league championship series, and I just finished watching Game 3 of the World Series, and he's scuffling a little bit in the World Series. Remember that series, the only game I was able to actually watch was Game 2. I was at a wedding reception the night of Game 1, so didn't get to see the famous Gibson home run. And 88 was my first full year out of the Navy, and I had a second shift job, so I was at work when the rest of the series games were on. In fact, I just watched Game 3 that Mark McGwire ended with a 9th inning home run, and I remember listening to that home run in the car when I was driving home from work. At bottom of the third in Cincinnati, Reds lead the Cardinals 1-0. That is Riel Cormier against John Smiley. Spoiler alert, John Smiley, future member of the Cleveland Indians. Top of the third in Baltimore. Royals and Orioles tied at 1. Rafael Palmeiro hit his first home run of the year. That is Kevin Apier against Mike Mussina. Bottom of the third in Boston. Red Sox 1, Tigers nothing. That is Moore against Roger Clemens. And bottom of the second in Toronto. Blue Jays lead the White Sox 7-1. Joe Carter hit his first home run, former member of the Indians. In fact, the player had been traded to San Diego for Sandy Alomar, Carlos Baerga, and Chris James was involved in that trade as well. I remember when that trade was made, I was disappointed that the Indians obtained Sandy Alomar Jr. and not Benito Santiago. And the Indians traded somebody else to Sandy. I think it might have been Mel Hall. That is Cook against Guzman. Mel Hall, the guy, probably the less said about him, the better. It'll be Tino Martinez, Rich Amaral, and Eric Anthony in the fourth for Seattle. Tino Martinez safe on a fielder's choice in the second. The 0-1 pitch. He hits a base hit up the middle. That'll bring up Amaral. He's 0 for 1. He had a shallow fly out to Kenny Lofton in the second. Amaral's a good bunter. Lewis is going to come in. Hits a fly ball into left center. Lofton near the track. He's got it. One out. I thought Lofton was a great player in his first go-around with the Indians. I didn't think he was quite as good when he came back to the Indians after his brief interlude with the Braves. Here's Eric Anthony. He's 1 for 1. He doubled in the second inning. Fastball, strike 1 called. Changeup on the outside half of the plate, strike 2. That was high, ball 1. Liner down the first base line, that's foul. Ground ball to sec, Baerga to Vizquel for 1. To first, double play, 4-6-3 double play. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the fourth. No score here in Cleveland. It'll be Vizquel, Baerga, and Bell. Omar Vizquel is 0 for 1. He grounded to Rich Amaral in the first inning. The 0-1 pitch. Fly ball into left field. Eric Anthony's there. He's got it. 1 out. Here's Carlos Baerga. He's 0 for 1 today. He fly to Ken Griffey Jr. in the first inning. The 0-2 pitch. Fly ball into right field. Buhner's there. He's got it. 2 outs. Here is Albert Bell. Bell is 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. The 0-1 pitch. It's off the end of the bat. Fly ball into right field. Buhner's there. He's got it. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. We played 4 here in Cleveland. It's the first game ever at Jacobs Field. No score. Seattle has no runs. They have 5 hits, no errors. They've left 5 men on base. Dennis Martinez pitched himself out of a jam in both the second and third innings. Cleveland has no runs, 1 hit, no errors. They've left 1 man on base. Mark Lewis had an infield hit in the third inning. It'll be Hasselman, Edgar Martinez, and Felix Fermin for Seattle in the 5th. Hasselman's 0 for 1. He struck out in the second inning. The 1-2 pitch. Way inside. Ooh, he got hit on the knee. Oh boy, I forgot to even mention the weather. It's 59 degrees here at Jacobs Field. And the winds are calm since they are no longer right on the lake. Jacobs Field is on the southeast side behind the terminal tower. It's roughly on the corner of Ontario and Carnegie, near the Lorraine Carnegie Bridge, the bridge that has the statue of the Guardians that the Cleveland Guardians are now named after. It's maybe a half mile from Cleveland Stadium. I used to work in a building that was like practically right next to what at the time was Gund Arena. If you know the layout of downtown Cleveland. And the Jacobs Field was actually built below street level. You could look like in the area where you, like the gate by the bleachers, and you could see how far that it's below. I think the top of the left field wall is approximately at street level. Here's Edgar Martinez. He's 1 for 2. He doubled in the third. It's a fly ball into center field. Lofton, Bell going back. That is gone. Home run into the bleachers. Seattle takes a 2-0 lead in the 5th inning. That'll bring up Felix Fermin. He is 1 for 2. He singled in the third. The 1-2 pitch. Grounder to short. Vizquel to throw to Murray. 1 out. Here's Reggie Jefferson. He's 0 for 1. He walked and he struck out. The 0-2 pitch. He hits a grounder to second. Carlos Baerga, he has a lot of time. He throws him out. 2 outs. Here's Ken Griffey Jr. He's 0 for 2 today. The 1-2 pitch. It's a liner into right field, but that's right at Manny Ramirez. He makes the catch, but Seattle gets 2 runs. 1 hit, no errors, no one left. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It is Seattle 2, Cleveland nothing. It'll be Murray, Maldonado, and Alomar for the Indians in the 5th. Eddie Murray is 0 for 1 today. He flied out to Ken Griffey Jr. in the 2nd inning. The 0-1 pitch. Base hit in center field. Gets all the way to the wall. Murray slides in a second with a double. Buhner tried to cut that ball off and wasn't able to reach it. That brings up Candy Maldonado. He's 0 for 1. He struck out. Slider high and tight, ball 1. It's another one high. Ball 2. Fastball. He checked the swing, but it's called strike 1. Pops it up, but it's out of play. Strike 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fouls that one back. Count remains 2-2. Curveball. He bounced that one. Ball 3. Full count. Little roller down the third base line. That's foul. Fouls that one back. Maldonado, he's making Johnson work here. Liner down the third base line. That's foul. Outside, ball 4. First walk given up by Randy Johnson. That brings up Sandy Alomar Jr. He's 0 for 1 today. He flied down the right field line. I remember 1990 was at a game with 2 of my friends at Cleveland Stadium. It was in April, and it was a bitterly cold day. And my friends just couldn't take the cold. They went down to the concourse. And while they were down there, Sandy Alomar Jr. hit his first home run as a member of the Indians. You know, and they either came back to the seats or I went down there to, I don't remember exactly when, but I was like, man, I got to see Alomar's first home run as, with the Indians. And they're like, well, we did too. We saw it on the video monitor. I was like, I saw it in person, man. Not the same thing. It's not the same thing as seeing it on TV. They kind of rolled their eyes, and I just laughed about it. Slider caught the inside corner, strike 1. It's a fly ball in the center field. Griffey Jr. back at the track. He's got it. Murray will hold at second. 1 out. That'll bring up Manny Ramirez. Ramirez is 0 for 1. He struck out in his first at bat. I was at Jacobs Field for some bitterly cold days, but I only remember 1 or 2 that seemed like they got to the same level of like bitterly cold as games at Cleveland Stadium did. Just being even that far away from the lake, half mile maybe. I don't even think it was that far. But it made a big difference in the weather in the ballpark. It's a shallow fly ball, pop up, left field, or Eric Anthony's there. He's got it. Eddie Murray tags. Now the game says he made the catch on the track. He was like in the opposite direction from the track on the chalkboard. So we have runners at first and third, 2 outs. Here's Mark Lewis. He's 1 for 1. He had an infield single to Edgar Martinez back in the third. Slider, swing and a miss, strike 1. Hits a grounder to short. For me, to Emerald. For the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. We played 5 complete. It's an official game here at Jacobs Field. Seattle leads the Indians 2-0. It'll be Buhner, Tino Martinez, and Rich Emerald in the 6th for Seattle. Buhner is 1 for 2 with a single today. The 1-1 pitch. Base hit into left field. Here's Tino Martinez. He's 1 for 2. He's singled. In the 4th. Fastball outside on the black. Strike 1. In tight. Ball 1. 2 low. Ball 2. It's a hard grounder to first. Murray to second for 1. Back to first. Double play. 3-6-3 double play. That'll bring up Rich Emerald. He's 0 for 2 today. The 1-0 pitch. Curveball. Grounder to third. Lewis. Throw to first. Too low. Murray couldn't dig it out, but he kept it in front of him. So Emerald is on first on Mark Lewis's error. Mark Lewis got both the first Indians hit at Jacobs Field and the Indians' first error at Jacobs Field. Here's Eric Anthony. He's 1 for 2 today he had a double. Curveball caught the inside corner. Strike 1. Anthony doubled in the 2nd, and he grounded into a double play in the 4th. It's a little line drive to second base. Baerga's right there, and he's got it. 3 outs. No runs, 1 hit, 1 error. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Seattle 2, Cleveland nothing. In the bottom of the 6th, it will be the top of the order for Cleveland. Lofton, Vizquel, and Baerga. Kenny Lofton is 0 for 2 today. He struck out once. Johnson has 4 strikeouts on the day. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Here's Omar Vizquel. He's 0 for 2 today. The 1-0 pitch. Grounder to second. Emerald has it. Throws him out. 2 outs. Here's Carlos Baerga. He's 0 for 2 today. Cleveland only had 2 hits so far today. The 1-0 pitch. It's a fly ball into right field. Jay Buhner's there. He's got it. 3 outs. Nothing across for Cleveland in the 6th. We played 6 here in the first game at Jacobs Field. Seattle 2, Cleveland nothing. This is WJST in Parma, Norwich, and Tuscaloosa. We will be right back. All right, and we're back. In the top of the 7th, it will be Hasselman, Edgar Martinez, and Felix Fermin for Seattle. Hasselman is 0 for 1. He struck out in the 2nd. He was hit by a pitch in the 5th. With the soft stuff that Dennis Martinez throws, he probably wasn't hurt too much by that pitch. It's a dying quail in the left center. Base hit. Laughlin tried to get to it, but he wasn't able to. That brings up Edgar Martinez. He's 2 for 3. He has a double and a home run. He had a 2-run homer in the 5th. First pitch, fastball, caught the inside corner, strike 1. Curveball, low and inside, ball 1. Martinez swings and misses, strike 2. High and inside, ball 2. Fouls it back, strike 1. Or, I'm sorry, count remains strike 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Pops it up on the infield. Mark Lewis takes charge. He's got it. 1 out. Here's Felix Fermin. He is 1 for 3 today. He singled in the 3rd. Seattle rallied in the 2nd and 3rd innings, but Dennis Martinez was able to snuff both of those rallies out. First pitch, fastball, strike 1 called. Seattle leads 2-0. They could just as easily right now be leading 6-0. Fermin, it's a base hit up the middle. Has someone round second. He'll take 3rd. That'll bring up Reggie Jefferson. He's 0 for 2 today with a walk and a strikeout. Defense is playing him in about halfway. Fastball, swing and a miss, strike 1. It's a grounder to second. Baerga dives for it. Comes up with it. To second for 1. To first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. What a play by Baerga. 3rd double play of the game for the Indians. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Seattle 2, Cleveland 1. Take a look around the league again. Bottom of the 5th in New York. Yankees lead the Rangers 7-4. Top of the 7th in Cincinnati, the Cardinals lead the Reds 3-2. Former member of the Indians, hard-hitting Mark Whiten, hit his 3rd home run of the season already for the Cardinals. Top of the 7th in Baltimore, the Orioles lead the Royals 6-3. Top of the 8th in Boston, Red Sox 1, Tigers nothing. Bottom of the 6th in Toronto, Blue Jays lead the White Sox 8-5. Paul Molitor is 2 for 4 with 4 runs batted in. Seeing Joe Carter's name there earlier reminded me of the the 1992 World Series. Or no, I take that back. It was the 93 World Series, based on where we were living in Columbus at the time. I was watching the World Series with my roommate, kid from Cleveland Heights. And he didn't know much about baseball, but he was watching a game with me. I remember Game 6 of that series, when when Joe Carter came up in the bottom of the ninth, I told him that if Joe Carter hits a home run and ends this game in this series with a home run, that'll only be the second time in Major League history that ever happened. It happened in 1960. Before that, and damn if he didn't. As soon as the words were out of my mouth, he hit a 3-run home run to win the series. My roommate was like, "I can't believe you said that," and he did it. And I was just like thinking out loud. I didn't really have a rooting interest in the series, although I generally root for the American League team. Unless San Diego's playing in the series, because I was stationed out of San Diego for most of my time in the Navy. But I had liked Joe Carter when he was a member of the Indians and was hoping to see him do well in the series. And I always got irritated by colorful closers, so I was kind of hoping that he would do something off of Mitch Williams. I was just glad that the Phillies beat the Braves. Even back in like the 91, 92 era, I did not like the Braves. All right, enough about memory lane. In the top of the fourth at Wrigley Field, Mets and Cubs are tied at 2. Bobby Bonilla hit his first home run of the year for the Mets. It's Doc Gooden against Mike Morgan. Spoiler alert, Doc Gooden, future member of the Cleveland Indians. And bottom of the fourth in Houston, the Astros lead the Expos 4-3. Jeff Bagwell hit his first home run. That's Facero against Harnish. I'm like, I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on some of these names, and then it occurs to me that this was like 32 years ago. It does not seem like it was 32 years ago that this ballpark opened. All right, in the bottom of the seventh, it will be the middle of the order for Cleveland. Bell, Murray, and Maldonado. Bell is 0 for 2. He struck out in the second, flied out to Buhner in the fourth. Foul tip, I see that I forgot to put in the uniform numbers of the Mariners. Oh well. 3-2 pitch. Ball 4. Bell walks. Bell's a good base runner. And he's pretty hard-nosed on the bases. I'll bring up the switch hitter, Eddie Murray. Murray is 1 for 2 today. He hit a double back in the fifth. In fact, that's only the second hit of the game for the Indians. Mark Lewis had an infield single in the third, and Murray doubled in the fifth. Slider, strike one called. Murray hits a deep fly ball into left field. Anthony's going back at the wall. That's gone in the bleachers. Home run, Eddie Murray ties the game. That'll bring up Candy Maldonado, the DH. He's 0 for 1. He has a walk and a strikeout today. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Strikeout number 6 for Johnson. 1 out. Here's Sandy Alomar Jr. He's 0 for 2. Alomar Jr., guy I was always real hot hot and cold on him. He was never one of my favorites, actually, as a member of the Indians. Got bad memories of him from the 1997 World Series. The 3-2 pitch. Fly ball into left field. Anthony back on the track. That one's gone. Home run. Sandy Alomar Jr. The Indians take a 3-2 lead. That brings up the kid, Manny Ramirez. He's 0 for 2 today. He struck out once. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. That's the second time he struck out today. That brings up Mark Lewis. He's 1 for 2. He had an infield single in the third. He has a stolen base today. The 2-0 pitch. Grounder up the middle. Fermin to his left. Has it. Throws him out. But the Indians get 3 runs on 2 hits, no errors, no one left. We played 7 complete here in Cleveland. First day game at Jacobs Field. The Indians lead the Mariners 3-2. This will probably be Dennis Martinez's last inning pitch. The Indians bullpen, at least as far as a closer, is a little bit in flux right now because going into the 93 season, their closer had been Steve Olin, who unfortunately died during spring training of 1993. And in this era, I don't use the bullpen warm-up rule because the way Hargrove uses bullpen, I'd have too many pitchers like warming up too many times. I remember it was almost a cliche with Hargrove that game would be like cruising by for 6 innings, and then sometimes it seemed like it would grind to a halt in the 7th and 8th innings as he just made pitching change after pitching change. And then starting with 95, they would, with a lead, they would generally go to Jose Mesa in the 9th, and if they weren't leading, if I recall correctly, was Tavares that they would go with. In the 8th inning for Seattle, it will be Griffey Jr., Buhner, and Tino Martinez. Griffey Jr. is 0 for 3 today. The 1-2 pitch. Hits a grounder to second. Martinez runs over to cover first. Spierger throws. He's out. 1 out. Here's Jay Buhner. He's 2 for 3. He has 2 singles today. Singled in the 2nd, singled in the 6th. Yeah, there's an angry man in Queens maybe watching this game who keeps muttering, Ken Phelps, Ken Phelps. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball in the inside corner. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 3 for Dennis Martinez. That'll bring up Tino Martinez. He's 1 for 3 with a single. He singled in the 4th. Grounded it into a fielder's choice in the 2nd and into a double play in the 6th. Indians have 3 double plays today. The 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. That puts a tying run on first. Here's Rich Amaral. He is 0 for 3 today. Fastball, ball 1. Too high, ball 2. Fastball, he checked the swing, but that was in at the knees. Strike 1. Ooh, Alomar to jump for that one. Ball 3. 3 balls, 1 strike. Hits a grounder to second. Baerga has it. Throws him out. 3 outs. No runs, no hits, no errors. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Cleveland 3, Seattle 2. For the Indians in the 8th, it will be the top of the order. Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel, Carlos Baerga. Kenny Lofton is 0 for 3 today. He struck out twice. 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Lofton walks. Here's Omar Vizquel. He's 0 for 3 today. They're playing him in for the bunt. Pitch over for a strike. Lofton goes for second. Hasselman just holds the ball. That's Lofton's first stolen base. He moves into scoring position. No balls, 1 strike. Lofton squares the bunt. Hasselman has it. Throws the first. Ooh, that throw went into right field. Skell's walking around. He's in a little bit of pain. It looks like he might have collided with Tino Martinez. Lofton's on third. We have runners at the corners. Nobody out. Here is Carlos Baerga. He's 0 for 3 today. And they're going to take Vizquel out. Alvaro Espinoza will come in and run for Omar Vizquel. Fastball, strike 1 called. Liner down the left field line, that's foul. Swing and a miss, strike 3 on a slider. That's strikeout number 8 for Randy Johnson. Runners at the corners, that'll bring up Albert Bell. Bell is 0 for 2 today. He has a walk and a strikeout. And he flied to Jay Buhner in the 4th. Swing and a miss on a fastball, strike 1. It's a grounder to second. Amaral to second for 1. To first. Double play. 4-6-3 double play. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the 9th. It is Cleveland 3, Seattle 2. Alvaro Espinoza stays in the game to play shortstop. New pitcher for the Indians, Eric Plunk. Plunk making his first appearance of the year. Plunkett played for the Bash Brothers, Oakland A's teams. Here's Eric Anthony. He's 1 for 3 today. Ball 4, he walks. Tying runs on first. That'll bring up Bill Hasselman, the catcher. He's 1 for 2. Struck out in the second, hit by a pitch in the 5th, singled in the 7th. Breaking ball, too high, ball 1. Low and inside, ball 2. High and outside, ball 3.
Foul ball.
Fouls it back, strike 1. And after all that I said about not using the bullpen warm-up rule, I forgot I had accidentally set it up for this season. So Jose Mesa gets up to warm up in the bullpen. The 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. Mesa had actually been one of the Indians' top starters in 1993. Here's Edgar Martinez. He's 2 for 4 today with a double and a 2-run homer in the 5th. Outside, ball 1. Ball 2. Ball 3. Swing and a miss on a curveball. Strike 1. Blooper in a left field base hit. Anthony stops at third. Bases are loaded. Here comes Mike Hargrove. That's going to be all for Eric Plunk. Jose Mesa comes in to pitch. At this point in time, Jose Mesa was not the Indians' closer. Here's Felix Fermin. He's 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. The infield is in. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Indians lead by 1. Swung at a bad pitch. Strike 1. It's a shallow fly ball into right field. Manny Ramirez coming in. He's got it. Anthony tags. And Seattle ties it up. Haselman moves to third. So 1 out. Runners at the corners. Indians will play the infield in for Reggie Jefferson. He's 0 for 3. He has a walk and a strikeout today. Swing and a miss. Strike 1. Low inside, ball 1. Base hit into right field. Haselman scores. Martinez takes third. Seattle retakes the lead. Poor play from Manny Ramirez. That will not be an isolated incident. Runners at the corner, 1 out. Here's Ken Griffey Jr. He's 0 for 4 today. Low, way inside, ball 1. Liner down the first base line, that's foul. High and outside, ball 2. Foul tip. Breaking ball, swing and a miss, strike 3. Mesa gets the strikeout. That'll bring up Jay Buhner. He's 2 for 4 today with a pair of singles. That's high, ball 1. In tight, ball 2. Hits a fly ball into left field. Albert Bell is there. He's got it. 3 outs. 2 runs, 2 hits, no errors. 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Seattle has retaken the lead, 4-3. It'll be Eddie Murray, Candy Maldonado, Sandy Alomar Jr. in the 9th. Eddie Murray's 2 for 3 today. He's a double and a home run. Liner down the right field line. That's foul. No balls, 2 strikes. Liner into left field. He's right at Anthony. 1 out. Here's Candy Maldonado. He's 0 for 2. He has a walk and he struck out twice. The 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called. Strikeout number 9 for Johnson, and the 3rd time Maldonado struck out. That brings up Sandy Alomar Jr. He is 1 for 3. He hit a home run in the 7th. The 0-2 pitch. Base hit up the middle. Griffey juggled it. Alomar's able to take second. 2 outs, tying run is at second. Pitch hitting for Manny Ramirez will be Wayne Kirby. Outside, ball 1. That was outside, ball 2. Pops it up first base side. Martinez is after it. But that makes the seats. In there at the knee, strike 2. That was a curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, runner on second. Low, ball 3, full count. Fouls it back. Strike 3. He swung at 1 out of the zone. That was strikeout number 10 for Johnson. That's the ball game. No runs. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. Final score today at the first game ever at Jacobs Field. Seattle 4, Cleveland 3. Seattle had 4 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors. They left 10 men on base. Cleveland had 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error. They left 5 men on base. Edgar Martinez went 3 for 5 today with a home run. He had 2 runs batted in. Bill Hasselman went 1 for 2. Jay Buhner went 2 for 5. Felix Vermeer went 2 for 4. While the hitting stars for the Indians were Eddie Murray, 2 for 4, and Sandy Alomar, 2 for 4. They each hit a home run. Randy Johnson pitched a complete game. He gave up 5 hits, 3 runs. They were all earned. He gave up 2 home runs. He walked 3, struck out 10. Dennis Martinez looked pretty good in his Indians debut. He gave up 9 hits in 8 innings pitched, 2 runs. He gave up 1 home run. That was to Edgar Martinez. Walked 2, he struck out 3. Eric Plunk faced 3 batters, gave up 1 hit and walked 2. He couldn't get anybody out. He took the loss today. And Jose Mesa got credit for a blown save. He gave up 1 hit in the 9th inning. Struck out 1. saying down in the clubhouse that Vizquel might be out for about 10 days. Yeah, Randy Johnson, he looked pretty good today. Just had that, basically that weak inning in the seventh, giving up the 2 home runs. Yeah, the Indians temporarily took the lead, and then the bullpen just couldn't hold it. That's like a reminder of the Indians from like the 89, 90, 91 era. Yeah, I'd forgotten that I had the bullpen warm up checked, and I brought in Plunk, not warmed up. I hope that didn't affect him too much. I mean, he was a good pitcher for the Indians, so it might have just been one of those things. Once again, final score, first game ever at Jacobs Field, Seattle 4, Cleveland 3. Hope you enjoyed this game. Thank you for watching.